Yo, what's up, Broncos country? How's it going tonight, guys? So, wanted to get on here and make this video. This is my gut reaction. I know I'm a few hours behind because I was watching all the other NFL games and didn't really have time. I was, getting the kids ready for school tomorrow, feeding them, everything like that. So I finally was able to get on and make this video. So here we go. So today the Broncos got their first win. Let's freaking go. Bo Nix looked amazing out there today. Like, yes, a passing touchdown he still has not had yet, but he had a rushing touchdown, which, you know what? I'm not too concerned with the passing touchdown stuff. I'm really not. Like, the fact that he's improving every week, like, we see improvements from week 1 to week 2, and we see improvements from week 2 to week 3. That's all I want. That's really all I want. Like, yes, I did predict the Broncos to go 10-7 this year and possibly make the playoffs. I still don't think that's going to happen. I changed my mind after last week's game, seeing how bad this team was. But overall, Knicks and this team look better this week. They look like they're improving, but I think I put my expectations a little too high on this team. And um, honestly, and Sean Payton, like I'm not one of those guys. There's people out there that say Sean Payton is purposely, not really trying this year, because it's mostly an evaluation year, which I agree with. It is an evaluation year, but I don't think that Sean Payton's not trying. I think he is trying, but the talent on this team is not good enough to win games, or it's too young and we're still developing them. This roster just doesn't have enough talent. And honestly, you know, I do believe we'll go above 5 wins. I think we'll go probably about what we did last year, maybe 8-9, maybe 9-8 at best. Because like it seems like every week to me, like this team does improve every single week. Like for instance, like I touched on it just a minute ago, Nix is improving. Like yes, I understand he doesn't still have a passing touchdown. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns on the year and 4 interceptions. But you know what? I don't care. Like that's gonna happen with a young rookie QB. And honestly, I wanted to throw this out there for you guys. Um, Today, I was watching NFL Red Zone after the Broncos got done playing. I watched the NFL Red Zone to watch the afternoon late window games, and they had a stat up there that said Bo Nix was the most productive rookie quarterback today. Now, granted, Caleb Williams played in the early window. Bo Nix played. Jaden Daniels plays tonight again, or yeah, I believe he plays tonight. Um, or no, it's not. No, Jaden Daniels plays tomorrow. I'm sorry. Jaden Daniels plays tomorrow, but Bo Nix had the best day of all the rookie quarterbacks today. They showed his stat line, and he won like the best rookie player of the day today. So that to me is encouraging. This kid is improving week in and every week that goes by, he's improving, which is a good thing. It's exciting to see Broncos country. I think even the naysayers, I think they could see the progression of Nix getting, him getting better from week to week. And you cannot not be excited. I mean, it's exciting to watch. Like he was actually comfortable. He was poised. He was delivering the ball on time with accuracy today, and he was playing phenomenal. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal, but well. Um, but to me, like watching that game today, it looks like the game has slowed down for Bo Nix. Like this is the thing. I said this last week after the loss to the Steelers. I said if there's any chance that the Broncos are going to win one of these games, within the first month of the season, the first 4 games, it would have had to been today's game. The reason for that is the Seahawks have a better defense. They have a top 10 defense. The Steelers have a top 10 defense. And honestly, I would say the Jets have a top 10 defense. The Bucks, they're good. And I said this last week. They're probably about right around maybe the middle of the pack kind of a defense, like 14, 15, maybe 16. Like their defense, and the fact that they didn't have Via Vea out there, and I think there was another secondary guy they lost today. I forgot who it was. Let me know in the comments, guys, because I'm not sure. But this was the one defense that's not a top 10 defense that we faced in the first 4 weeks. What's up, Michael? Thanks for joining us, man. But the Bucks were not a top 10 defense. Next week on the road in New York, the Jets, they are a top 10 defense. Now, am I expecting to win? I don't know. Like, the Jets looked good the other day, but they played the Patriots. And, who's the Patriots? Brissett. Like, I'm not going to say nothing on that. But Could the Broncos win next week? Sure. If they keep building on the momentum they got from this week by beating the Bucs in Tampa Bay, excuse me, and Bo Nix keeps going down this road of getting better every week, yeah, it's possible they can win. I mean, think about it. The exotic Seattle defense that we faced week one, Bo Nix's first game, we got 20 points in that game. Okay. Bo Nix struggled. He looked like a rookie. Last week, he looked like a rookie. This week, he looked poised. Like, I remember, I don't know if you guys watched the game today. I'm sure most of you have, but you can hear them on the broadcast saying Bo Nix looks like a veteran out there. That's what they said. I heard someone say, I can't remember exactly who it was that said that. It was one of the announcers, but they say Bo Nix looks comfortable. He looks poised. He looks like the game's slowing down. He looks like a veteran out there, which is good. That's what we want. And this coming up week, like the Jets, they're coming off of a mini bye because they played Thursday night. They don't play again until next Sunday against us, and we're in New York. Like, and not just Bo Nix either. The other thing is that the fact that the defense played a whole game, they did not let up off the gas. The defense played 2 halves, which is good. Vance Joseph actually kept his foot on the pedal, which is good. That's what we want to see as Bronco fans, week in and week out. We want to see Vance Joseph to play, a full game, a full 60 minutes, not one half, not two. Now, people can argue like, oh, well, the Steelers only scored 13 points. I'm like, yeah, because they had Justin Fields back there. Like, Justin Fields got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers from Chicago for a reason. Russell Wilson was their other quarterback, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Yes, they only scored 13 points. But if you watch the games, the film, like the stats don't say everything. The score doesn't say everything. The first week, the freaking defense came out. They played great in the first half against the Seahawks. The second half, not so much. Last week, they played, I wouldn't say horrible, but they didn't play great in the first half last week against the Steelers. But in the second half, they did. The fact that VJ and the defense were able to play a whole game today and Bo Nix is improving every week really shows me, some hope. Also, the receivers look good. Cortland Sutton was out there. He looked good. Josh Reynolds. Who was the other one? There was another one out there. I can't remember who it was for the life of me. I think it was Javonte was the other leading receiver. Let me look at the stats here real quick. Here's Bo Nix's stats from today. I'm going to jump through the stats real quick. That way we can talk about the receivers. Bo Nix went 25 for 36, which I still don't like the fact that made him throw 36 times, but we got the W. Cool. 216 yards, no touchdowns, passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He had 1 rushing touchdown. Denver rushing today. Okay. We're going to go through this here in a minute. I'm going to go through the stats real quick, and then we're going to go by a couple. I want to talk about a few players. Tyler Beatty had 9 attempts for 70 yards. Tyler Beatty, a guy that was on the practice squad at the start of the season. McLaughlin had 5 attempts for 7 yards, 1 touchdown. Bo Nix was our second leading rusher yet again. Bo Nix over the last, the first 2 weeks was our leading rusher. This week he was our second leading rusher. Bo Nix 9 attempts for 47 yards, 1 touchdown. Javonte 5 attempts for 12 yards, no touchdowns. They attempted to run the ball 28 times, so they ran more this week, which is good. A total of 136 yards. Now, if you take away Bo Nix's 47 yards, they're under 100 yards rushing for the game, but that's fine. I think between the 3 backs, Williams, McLaughlin, and Beatty, they rushed for like 80-something yards or 90-something yards, somewhere around there. So I'm fine with that. But Bo Nix being the leading rusher, that kind of drives me crazy. Or being the second, leading rusher kind of drives me crazy a little bit. Now, receiving. Now, I'm going to go through all the receivings. We had 216 yards receiving. This is how many yards each receiver got today. Let's see. Nate Atkins had 1 reception for 6 yards. Troy Franklin had 2 receptions for 11 yards. Lil Jordan Humphrey, 6 for 37, which is good. Lil Jordan Humphrey got more involved. That's fine. I wish they get the younger guys like Marvin Mims more involved. Julian McLaughlin, 1 reception for 7 yards. Marvin Mims, 1 reception for 9 yards. They still need to get him more involved, in my opinion. Josh Reynolds had 2 receptions for 36 yards. Cortland Sutton was our leading receiver finally this week. He had 7 receptions for 68 yards. Troutman had 1 reception for 13. Javonte had 4 for 29, 216 yards. Now, good Cortland Sutton is getting out there. He had 7 receptions for 68 yards. Josh Reynolds, he was our third behind Lil Jordan Humphrey, who had 37 yards. Josh Reynolds had 37. So it's good. The receivers are starting to catch the ball. They're starting to get that momentum. They're starting to get that timing with Bo Nix, which is good. Now, what I want to step into here. Now, a lot of people are going to, tell me I'm silly for saying this, but I honestly don't care anymore because he brings nothing to the table for me anymore. Rushing yards, 5 attempts for 12 yards. Javonte Williams. The guy is not the same person anymore. He's not the bruiser, break tackle kind of player we drafted and had his first year. Yes, I understand the injury, but he's just not been that same player. I think last year he was like only averaging like 2-point-something yards per carry. And this year he's not averaging any better. I'm done with Javonte. I'd rather trade Javonte by midseason and give Tyler Beatty more freaking reps. Like Audric Estime is going to be back shortly. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. You have Audric Estime, you have Jaleel McLaughlin, and Tyler Beatty. I think those should be the 3 starting running backs whenever Audric Estime comes back. Because that fumble today, I was on Facebook and I kind of had the feeling too that fumble to me, I was like, oh crap, this is going to change the momentum of the game. The Bucs are going to come back and beat us. Because this team, I've learned over the years about this team is that they cannot rebound from one bad thing, whether it be a penalty, a fumble, an interception. Both sides of the ball cannot recover from that. And honestly, it gave me a little PTSD seeing Javonte fumble that ball. And I'm thinking, oh God, the momentum's going to shift. We're going to lose this because of this. Thankfully, it didn't happen that way. But honestly, I love Javonte. I wish he didn't tear his ACL. I wish he was the same player he was, but he's not. And honestly, after this year, you're going to have to think about paying Javonte. I think we should just trade him, get whatever we can out of him, and let Tyler Beatty, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Audric Estime run the backfield. Because those are younger guys that are more hungry. Beatty, like I said, 9 attempts for 70 yards. He had that one massive run there. I think it was in the third or second quarter today. Tyler Beatty is hungry. He wants to be out there. Give him more reps. Plain and simple. If that means taking more away from Javonte, I'm all for it. So, but the defense today was really, really good. I believe the defense had 2 turnovers today. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they had 2 turnovers today. I know they had an interception and they also had a fumble recovery. This team, like I said, as long as it keeps just progressing forward, Bo Nix just keeps getting better week after week after week. Vance Joseph, just continues to, stack good halves together. Not just one half, but continues to play good football. Keeps his foot on the pedal, for the entire game and not just one half. This team could win some games, and create turnover. And the thing is I remember before today watching a podcast saying, the Broncos, the only way they're going to win this week is if they create multiple turnovers, like 3-4 plus turnovers. That's the only way the Broncos are going to win this game. Just kind of like last year, where they had to create 3 to 5 turnovers a game in order to win. That was not the case today. The Broncos only had 2 turnovers. They had 1 interception. They had 1 fumble recovery. That was it. They only had 2. Now, that still helps, yeah, but this team is just looking better and better. They scored 26 points. We dominated the Bucs in their house. Nobody was picking the Broncos. I watched all the national media pundits. I watched even Broncos podcasts. No one expected the Broncos to win this week because the Bucs were 2-0. They were one of the best. They're one of the best teams in the NFC South. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They had a 2-0 record. The Broncos were 0-2. We were going to their house and that heat on the road, just all this stuff. No one expected us to win. And even the people that did, like Bronco fans that did expect us to win, we're like, yeah, we'll win, but it'll be like a 20-17, victory. We'd win by like 3 points. We blew the Bucks out. We destroyed them today. Baker Mayfield, like he was one of the best quarterbacks last year. He was one of the best quarterbacks the first 2 weeks of the season. And we made him look like freaking Daniel Jones out there today. He was constantly getting harassed in the backfield. He, was uncomfortable the entire game. The defense was getting after him, and they were just playing smothering coverage over the middle of the field. So if we can continue to do that, I understand. Like I said, this team ain't got a whole lot of talent on it, but if they could just play like they did today, just like, and this to me, like watching that after the first quarter, I was like, yeah, this is a victory for the Broncos because they came out with such passion. They came out with fire. Even the games, like the first 2 games where the defense only like played one good half, it took them a while to get that fire under their belly and like, okay, let's go fight. The fact that the Broncos dominated, and I am not even kidding, they dominated the trenches today. Offensively, defensively, they dominated up front. They were hungry. They were on fire. They were like, no one's going to stop us from getting this victory today. That's what this Bronco team, granted, yes, I understand, not enough talent. That's understandable. But as long as your young guys have that fire, that hunger, that fight, that dog in them, they can win games. They might not be blowouts like they were today. They might be closer, or they might be closer fought losses. They could be closer fought victories. But just to have life out there on the team, on the field, was exciting to see. This team's like, nope. Like, they got punched, like that Javonte fumble. They got punched in the mouth. Usually whenever the Broncos, that happens, like I said, something horrible happens, like a bad penalty or penalty in general or a turnover. This team just like lays over and dies. Not today. The Bucks punched them in the mouth. Broncos came right back and bam, punched them right back. They did not give up today. And that's the kind of team, even with not as much talent, a lot of young guys, if they just have that fight, kind of like, I'm trying to think, teams in the past, like the Cardinals, for instance, like there's games that the Cardinals won that everybody was writing off, like, oh, the Cardinals are terrible, they have no talent, this or that. But the fact that they had fight, they had that dog in them, they either kept games close to where they barely lost or they barely won. Now, yes, they still lost more than they won, but just to have that fight in them, that's what this team needs. Sean Payton needs to make sure that this team is ready to go every week. Just continue, call the Broncos. If I'm Sean Payton, I'm going to that locker room like, you guys are still the underdogs. You guys are still the underdogs. No one believes in you, but I believe in you. Let's go out there and rip this team apart. Let's rip them apart. Let's have that fight. Let's have that dog in us and just go win this game. That's what they need to do. But a couple other things I wanted to touch on now that I'm done rambling about that kind of stuff. Michael, thanks, man. You jumped in here again. I'm going to pop this up on the screen. The Raiders got beat bad against the Carolina Panthers. Yes, Michael. Yeah, that was one of the main games I was watching. The Chargers also lost today. They were playing the Steelers. I think they were in Pittsburgh. Yeah, because the Rams were in Los Angeles tonight, so the Chargers were in Pittsburgh. Now, yes, Pittsburgh beat them. Justin Fields beat them. And, I'm happy the Chargers lost, and I know they didn't have Justin Herbert today, but at the same time, it's like, dude, we lost to the Steelers. Yes, we did. We only scored 6 points against them last week, but they only got 13 points against us. Me personally, the Chargers were supposed to be a better team this year than the Broncos. That's what I thought, honestly. The Steelers just beat the crap out of them. I watched that game. It wasn't just like, I understand Justin Herbert was out. Yes, it was a 10-point victory for the Steelers, but I watched some of the game, some of the, plays of it. Dude, since Justin Herbert wasn't there, that team today didn't look like it had no fight. The Chargers had no fight in them today. It was like they got punched in the mouth, they rolled over and died. And to me, that's the Charger way. Like, I don't think the Chargers are going to, like I said this before, I think it's going to take a year for the Chargers to actually become a better team. They're lacking talent too, just like the Broncos. Next year, this division is going to be fun to watch because the Broncos are finally going to have money and picks, and they're going to be able to put talent on this team around Bo Nix. The Chargers are going to be able to put talent around Justin Herbert. And the Chiefs, of course, the Chiefs and the Raiders, who God knows what they're going to do. And that's the other team I want to talk about. The Raiders literally got slapped. And I'm not talking about, they fought and they just got beat. No, they literally rolled over and died today against the Carolina Panthers in Las Vegas. They were at home and they got smacked. Like, that team looked like a dumpster fire. And I don't know if anybody watched the entire game, but like the last two drives for the Raiders, they literally pulled Gardner Minshew out and put Aiden O'Connell in. Like, I think Antonio Pierce seen enough, and he's like, they still got a quarterback controversy in Las Vegas. Now, the Broncos, we play the Jets this week, and I think we come home week 5 to play the Raiders or the Chargers, one of those two. I think we play the Raiders and Chargers back-to-back weeks in Denver. That week 4 game, I'm pretty sure, is against the Raiders here in Denver. That's our opportunity. We need to strike and beat them down. We need to end that streak, and finally, take over. And the Chargers, like, we need to beat them too. Like, the Broncos very easily, we could become in second place in the division. It's possible, but we have to beat the Jets. We have to beat we have to win our next 3 games. For that to be a possibility. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy because it's going to be rough. Even with the Chargers, I think it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough with the Raiders because we always have trouble beating them. And the Jets ain't no joke. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. This team, they look good. Granted, it was against the Patriots they played against this week, but, we have the opportunity. Moving on to the next super chat here. Michael, thanks, man. I appreciate all your comments, man. I really do. The Broncos secondary shut down wide receiver Mike Evans. Yeah, they did. Surtain went they barely threw to Mike Evans today. Surtain was in smothering coverage. Like, as much as I was down the first 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure most of Bronco country was down. I just think this team, they started off slow. September over the last couple of years has not been a great month for them, especially with a rookie QB, not as much talent. And you're going up against 2 of the best defenses in the league in Seattle and Pittsburgh. I think this team is really now starting to find their footing. They're starting to run the ball more. They're really discovering their identity and who they are. And Bo Nix is improving every week, and Vance Joseph is, playing a full game. So it's only going to get better from here, guys. Moving on to the next comment here. Michael, thanks again, man. Quarterback Justin Herbert re-injured his high ankle sprain today against the Steelers. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I thought he was out before game time. But yeah, Justin Herbert, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about how long he's going to be out. Like I said, we got the Jets this week, and after that, I'm pretty sure we got the Raiders and the Chargers back to back, and both of those games are at home. This is going to be our time to strike. These next 3 games, like I said, this is a team that's pretty much just seeing what they have on the roster. They're, they don't have a lot of talent, but if this team can win their next 3 games, if they can beat the Jets next week in New York, come home, they got 2 road victories on the road against, a solid defense and the Bucks and a great defense and the Jets. And they come home and they play against the Raiders, who I don't think is going to be that great. By the way, we're in 3rd place now that the Raiders lost today. I think it's the Chiefs, Chargers, us, and the Raiders. The Broncos are going to be fighting for that game because they're going to want to beat the Raiders. They're going to be at home, and they're going to be fighting to stay on, in 2nd place in the division. That depends on how the Chiefs play tonight and next week too. And then also the Chargers the week after. That's going to be another game. These divisional games, they're big, and especially the 2 divisional games at home against the Raiders and Chargers. If you can beat the Jets this week and you can come home and beat those 2 teams, dude, there's no reason why you can't maybe go on a run like you kind of did last year and maybe keep yourself in the picture. Like, we know the most meaningful football is played in November and December. If we can win these next 3 games and be, let's see, we're 1-2 now. We win against the Jets, the Raiders, Chargers. We're what? That's 4-2. We will be 4-2 going into week, I believe it is 5, 6, 7. By midseason, we'll be 4-2 going into week 7. I don't know who our opponent is then. I had to look it up. But we could really be, maybe creeping up there into the divisional standings. We could be in second place, hopefully, possibly, and maybe compete with the Chiefs. I mean, it's a long shot, but in the NFL, anything's possible. And that especially depends on how the Chiefs play the next 3 weeks. They play tonight against the Atlanta Falcons, I think, in Atlanta. I'm going to be watching that game, and hopefully the Falcons kick their butt, make them 2-1. Chargers are 2-1. Broncos are 1-2. Raiders are 1-2. And if we can win these next couple of games, no telling where this season can go from here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What were your thoughts on the victory today? What was your gut reaction? Mine was, yes, we finally got a win. And like I said this last week, that if there was one game in the first month of the season, the first 4 games of the season that we can win, it would have been this one. Like, even if, I would have been more confident last week saying about last week's game if Russ was playing. Justin Fields, he destroyed us with his legs last week, which is what I was worried about. Because Russ, he would try to do the same thing, but he's not as mobile. Our DNs would have caught up to him, probably took him down, and they wouldn't have had a chance. But this week with a defense that was not as good, I was like, this is the week we need to get our first win. Because I think if we would have lost today and then still be on the road next week going to New York. By the way, the team's not coming back to Denver for this week. They're going to stay out there on the East Coast because they got to go up to New York next weekend. I was like, if they don't win this game today, it's a strong possibility they go 0-4 the first 4 games. Because the Jets, the Steelers, and the Seahawks defenses are top 10. The Bucs is probably about middle of the pack. This was the game you had to win. Now that you won this game, you relieve a little bit of pressure off yourselves. You take some pressure off Bo Nix like they did today during the game. You can you got yourself some momentum now. Now you can go into that Jets game, staying on the Eastern Coast for this, this next week and a half until the game after playing the Bucs, and ride that momentum into the Jets game and hopefully beat them, go 2-2 in the first 4 games, and then you come home for 2 games back to back against the Raiders and Chargers, and then the sky's the limit from there, in my opinion. We played the New Orleans Saints after the Chargers game. Okay, so it goes Jets, Raiders, Chargers, New Orleans. And that's the other thing. If we can, and I can tell you what, right now, Sean Payton is not going to, he's not going to let this team lay flat for the New Orleans game. He's going back to New Orleans. He's going to fight tooth and nail. I'm not saying they're going to 100% win that game. We got to wait and see what happens. But I'm telling you right now, that's the game that Sean Payton, outside of maybe the Steelers game last week with Russ, but since he didn't play, that didn't matter. The New Orleans game is 1,000% circled on Sean Payton's calendar to win this year. So if you can go up to New York next week, beat the Jets, beat the Raiders at home, beat the Chargers at home, then you got the New Orleans Saints on the road. You could go on that's a 5-game win streak. Bucs, Jets, Raiders, Chargers, New Orleans. You go on a 5-game win streak. And if that's the case, man, this team will be right in the middle of the playoff hunt easily. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to jump off here and I'm going to get ready to watch hopefully the Falcons beat the crap out of the Chiefs tonight. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe on this video, and please bring your family, friends, everybody in to come over and check this out. I might have Muhammad on here with me next week. We might be doing the shows from my channel from now on. We're still with Colorado Sports Connection. It's just we're looking for a new producer. So if anybody knows of anybody that wants to help produce the show over there, let us know, or let me know. You can direct message me on Facebook. You can message me on trying to think, Twitter. You can message me anywhere. So let me know if you guys know anybody, but if not, I will talk to you guys next week. Peace.